So I'm going to watch this video. This is basically the 9 traits of a real narcissist. And he's going to explain kind of how it works. And he's a narcissist. So he's going to explain from his perspective, kind of the thought process that goes into it. It's very interesting. That's why I like his content so much, is to see it from the perspective of someone that thinks this way currently. Even though he's getting help, he's been in therapy for a while. The fact is that that's how his brain processes the world. So, you guys ready? I'm ready. 3, 2, 1, whatever. Let's go.
What is going on, beautiful people? Today, we're talking about the 9 traits of narcissistic personality disorder, according to the DSM-5. If you're new here, my name is Lee Hammock, and I'm a clinically diagnosed narcissist, and welcome to another episode of the Narcissist Code.
I love his content, you guys. I love it. And I'm totally here for watching content that sincerely, can help someone long term or help someone make sense of the world just a little bit. I mean, and some of these things might apply to someone you know, or it might just be interesting. But you know what? We are on this earth for a limited time. Learn all you can. Knowledge is power. Share it. Perspective matters. I love you guys. Here we go.
So, finally, not everybody's a narcissist, Lee. You got to be clinically diagnosed to be a narcissist. Yeah. Duh.
Duh.
You don't have to be clinically diagnosed to be a narcissist, y'all. So that's the thing that kind of blows my mind, because I have narcissistic personality disorder, right? And although I am clinically diagnosed, if I would have never went to therapy, would I not be? So was this
Okay, did I not say this a little bit ago? Just because you didn't, most of them will not go because they think there's nothing wrong with them. They think that everything they're doing is fine and that there's nothing wrong. Their way of viewing the world is that they are always correct. So to get somebody to the point where they would go to therapy is very, very rare. So most narcissists are out there are not officially diagnosed because, fun fact, this is personal experience. My ex loved to say that if he didn't feel the need to go to therapy, because every time when he was in rehab and had to talk to counselors, they ended up thanking him for explaining how life really works. And they would say, you know what? I am better now that I've spoken to you. Thank you for explaining how all of this works and giving me all the insight. So basically, he said every time he goes to a counselor, he would teach them, not the other way around. Stop. So you can see why most of them are not diagnosed. It's hard to nail them down and make them go to the therapist, okay?
Does that not make me a narcissist? If I never went to therapy and got clinically diagnosed, would I not be a narcissist? You see, that argument flips on people's heads. It's just like it flips people's arguments on their heads. It's like, no, you got to be diagnosed. So if I wouldn't have gotten diagnosed, so does that not mean I'm a narcissist? You see. So, but today.
Yes, Annette. Yes. Remember we were trying to go to couples. By the way, if I clip this up separately, Annette's in the chat. She has been around me since I was 16 years old, if 15, 16. We've been pretty much very close best friends for life. She was with me through my entire abusive marriage. She got to see it firsthand. She was in my house, around my kids, around my ex-husband. She experienced it personally, and she's in the chat right now. And she says, I remember him saying that to me once. I was trying to get couples counseling or whatever. Yeah, and it was like, well, they're just going to learn from me, and they should pay me to go to counseling so that they can learn. Because it's just so smart. Everybody's so smart. It just irritates me. Sorry, I'm a little bit, I still have some anger. I try to let it go. But, this was a lifetime. It deserves it. So anyway, back to the video.
Today, y'all, we're talking about the 9 traits of narcissistic personality disorder. The 9 traits that psychologists and people use, clinicians use, therapists use to diagnose people with NPD. And the crazy thing about this is, y'all, it's 9 traits. You only have to have 5. 5. It says the definition of NPD states that it comprises of a persistent manner of grandiosity, a continuous desire for admiration, along with a lack of empathy, It starts by early adulthood and occurs in a range of situations as signified by the existence of any 5 of the next 9 standards. So you don't have to have all 9 to be diagnosed as a narcissist. You only have to have 5. In every single one of these is toxic in and of its own nature, y'all. That's what I'm just telling people. So the first trait that they have listed on here is a grandiose logic of self-importance. Yes, grandiose logic of self-importance is absolutely true, because that's how it goes right there, y'all. If you think about it, narcissistic people think that they are super important people just because we are us. Just because I'm me, it means that I'm important. It means that I like I said, it just means that I have importance because I am me.
Okay, so remember, please keep in mind that he is saying this from, as a narcissist, he is relating to these because this is, and he's trying to articulate it so that it's understandable to everyone else. And he's doubling down like, look, this really is how it is. This is the way that our brains process this stuff. To me, it's very interesting.
That's all it means. Like, I'm important because I'm me and you are you. And I'm more valuable than you to this world because I am me. No matter how much success you have, no matter how many goals you've hit, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much taller than me, stronger than me, faster than me, whatever it is, better looking than me, whatever it is, I'm still better than you. I'm more important than you because I am me. And you know that if you dealt with most narcissists, I think most narcissists have this trait right here.
I agree.
Most narcissistic people have this trait right here. They do. They absolutely do. It just gets into that space right there where they just feel like they're super important to the world. Like the world should be blessed to have me in it. You know what I mean? The world should feel blessed to have me as a part of it, which is a wild mindset to have, which I understand when people just look at, and y'all know people like this all the time. Mm-hmm. People that haven't accomplished anything in life, but just feel like I'm better than you. It should have been me. Or the jealousy, boy, woof, the jealousy. So that's trait number 1, y'all. Trait number 2, I'm walking down my time limits, is a fixation with fantasies of infinite success, control, brilliance, beauty, or idyllic love. Fixation with fantasies of infinite success. Like, yes, I want it all. Like, this is one of my traits right here, y'all. Like, seriously, I am like, literally, y'all, seriously. Since I was younger, I wanted to be a famous actor or play in the NFL. I needed to do stuff to set me apart from everybody else because I had those delusions of grandeur that kick in right there, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The delusions of that I deserve a better life, that I wanted so much success. Because right here, and a lot of narcissists have this right here, y'all. They have these delusions of infinite success, fantasies of infinite success or control and brilliance and whatnot because they want to be happy. They think that going after these goals will somehow, some way, shape, or form, finally make them happy. It will finally help me be me. It will finally give my life meaning when I'm ultra successful.
Well, you realize that what this is, the flip side of this is that they're unhappy. They're unsuccessful, and they feel like this is what it would take to hit those milestones, those goals of being important, valid, and successful. But they're not small achievements. They're these big, huge, like, I'm going to be the most famous actor. I'm going to be a huge influencer. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that, right? So it's not just regular. It's not normal people thinking. It's like, just because I was in drama class, I'm going to be, an international superstar. Like, it's a little bit out there, just a little bit. And he's talking about it like this is exactly how he thinks. I think he gets into it a little bit more. I don't know what my mic is not miking for me right now.
Successful, right? But that's the crazy thing about it, because I've achieved a lot of success and it doesn't make you happy. Happiness is intrinsic. Happiness is internal. And I've come to realize that because I've been in therapy for the last 6 years, that happiness, you have to.
6 years of therapy. 6 years of therapy for him to get to the point where he can acknowledge all of these things. I'm sure he's been doing it for a minute. But still, 6 years of consistent therapy. It's not, oh, I went once and now everything's great because, they told me some stuff, I taught them some stuff and we're good. No, it's hard work. Hard work. And he's doing the work, which is what matters. I'm sliding out of my chair. My mic is in my face. It's weird. Anyway, continuing on.
You have to earn it from the inside out. Happiness is inside out stuff. It comes from the inside and works its way outside. But narcissistic people are different. They try to go outside in. You see what I'm saying? Like success, control, brilliance, beauty, idyllic love. I want people to idolize me. All that stuff is external. You see, all that stuff right there is external things. Control is external. Brilliance.
What did I say? Have you guys ever heard me talk about how in order to be really happy, one of the things that I do personally is I am in control of my own happiness because I am responsible for it. I take control, I take charge of it. And instead of it being based on what other people say, do, or think, no one else has to do a single thing for me to be happy. I am happy based on the things that I choose to do myself. So like, I'm happy because I cleaned the front room. Sorry, that was funny. I didn't do that. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like I got the dishes done, or I learned a new skill or something, or you know what? I had a good day and the sky is blue and it's pretty. I take control of what makes me happy instead of putting it on anyone else to demand that they treat me in some type of way so that I'll be happy. I completely believe that you are the captain of your own joy. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of related to this. And I think that my obsession with that came specifically off of a 14-year relationship with someone that was every single thing that he's talking about, okay? Like in the worst way. So I kind of went, woo, the whole opposite direction.
Brilliance is external. Beauty is external. All that stuff is external. Brilliance can be internal a little bit, but because
no, and I understand what he's saying, but brilliance, it's the being perceived as brilliant by others versus actually being intelligent. And Annette, I see that he would say, yeah, he would say that my friend Annette would come over to see him and not me and the kids, even though she'd been my friend for decades. He'd be like, oh, well, she's here to see me, and it's like. And you don't argue because it was just start a whole thing and nobody cared. So we just, okay, you're funny, cool, and move on. But no, brilliance is the perception of brilliance. I feel like is more what narcissists are looking for is other people to acknowledge their intelligence, not the fact that they actually have it, because that doesn't matter. It only matters if they're intelligent and everyone knows it, right?
Mind, but it's delusions of brilliance, so it's external. But all this stuff is external things that you think is going to make you happy. Like I've experienced this on so many different levels where I think that this is going to make me so happy when I hit the success. This is going to make me so happy when I fall in love, when I get married, when I have kids, when I get the job of my dreams, when I graduate from school, when I hit 1 million subscribers on TikTok or something like that. You think it's going to make you happy, but in the end, it really, really doesn't. It really doesn't. So that right there, when they hit these goals, or a lot of times they self-sabotage themselves on the way to try to hit these goals. So that happens quite a bit right there. They self-sabotage themselves on their way to trying to hit one of these goals, so they never hit it. So they can say they tried, but they didn't succeed. So that gives them a reason to try to keep going to get this type of stuff. But it just doesn't make you happy when you get there. And that can make them resentful towards the people around them. So when they hit success, when you have a successful narcissist, they'll still be angry at the people around them. They'll still treat the people around them like lesser beings, because you go back to the first one, grandiose logic of self-importance, So, trait number 3. 7 minutes. I'm 7 minutes. A credence that he or she is extraordinary or exceptional and can only be understood by or connect with other extraordinary or important people or institutions. Here's right here. I'm special and nobody understands me but other special people. Nobody understands me but other special people, other people that are in charge. You wouldn't get it because you are a lesser being. You don't understand my point of view because I'm up here. I think up here. You think down here. Like this is my first time reading through the 9 traits, which is crazy, y'all. But you think up here,
and this is his first time reading through them, and he is explaining them as he goes, so off the top of his head. And if you see him doing timestamps, he's doing timestamps to try and keep himself on pace so he doesn't go off rambling, which is a really intelligent thing to do, and I really should try it.
I mean, I think
I should have recorded this separately so that I could just upload it, but I didn't because, it's been a minute.
up here, you think down here. So I'm just a higher being. Like, you don't understand. It's like I'm speaking Latin, you're speaking English. You don't understand me because we're on different wavelengths. We're speaking different languages, and my language is the most important language. You need to get on my level. You need to get to my level of understanding. Even though my level of understanding might be delusional, it might be conspiracy theory oriented. It might be just wildness. But that's how I used to feel. That's why you get a lot of narcissistic people that feel like, even in a crowd of a lot of people, they feel like they stand out. Even if they fit in, even if they look exactly like everybody in the crowd. Even if I was in a crowd of 6'2", 250-pound people with dreads, black people with dreads, I would feel like I stand out. I'm different. I'm different than everybody here because I'm different. I'm me. You see what I'm saying? Nobody else gets me. I'm on an island by myself here. That's the mindset of a lot of narcissistic people right there, y'all. It is wild. It is a wild mindset to have, to feel like nobody else understands you.
Nobody gets it.
That's why nobody else gets you. That's why you're an outcast, because nobody understands you. You feel like you've been cast away from people because nobody gets it.
Not because you're an asshole, not because you're treating people like crap, but because they're not intelligent enough to understand and appreciate how amazing I am and my brilliance. And they're jealous of everything that I do and say. And they're jealous that they're not as smart as me. And they're jealous because I'm going to do such great things. And so they have it out for me. I'm not treating them badly. They're perceiving it wrong because they just don't understand and they don't get it. Everyone is attacking, and you're always the victim in this mindset. You're always the victim, but you're not a victim because that would make you less than, and you're not that, but they have a victim mentality. Everyone's out to get them. Everyone wants what they have. Everything they have is better. And everyone wants to take it from them. It's very interesting, and it's quite wild, and I've lived it, so I know what he's saying is true. And I just love that he's off the top of the dome. He's just going into this.
Nobody's going to understand me. Nobody here gets me. So that's why I'm unhappy. That's why people always get in trouble, because nobody understands me. This how they explain away the bad stuff that they do. This how they explain away the bad stuff that they say, the crazy, delusional stuff that they say. You just don't get it. You don't understand it. Your level of thinking is down here. So trait number 4 is a desire for unwarranted admiration. A desire for unwarranted admiration. Like, you go after you think you want it, y'all. You want the attention. You want all the attention on you. You know what I mean? You want it on you. And you don't deserve it. Like, you don't deserve. You feel like all eyes should be on me. But what have you done to deserve it? What can I say, or what have I done to justify admiration? Why should people why should I, like, this is how the crazy thing about it, this is how I used to feel on TikTok. This is kind of how, to be honest with you, this is kind of how I still feel on TikTok, on any social media platform. When I see somebody doing good, I always think, like, when somebody else is doing good, right? Let's say on YouTube per se, like, they'll have, like, this is back when I first got started, they would have like 100K subs. And I'd be like, why don't I have 100K subs? I talk better than them. I have the best information. Why don't I have 100K subs? I'm not wishing bad on people that had 100K subs. I just felt like I deserved it, or I needed more attention or more eyes on me because I'm me. You see how all this stuff works in together? The delusions of grandeur, the fantasies of success, and unwarranted attention. Like, all this stuff works in together. You feel like you deserve more because I'm me. It all ties in together. Like, why I need more attention because I'm me. I need to stand up because I got dreads. You see, it is a wild mindset, man. Just read these traits. It is kind of crazy because that's how the mind works and whatnot, y'all. It is wildness. So, number 5, a sense of entitlement. A sense of entitlement.
It's a big one.
It just says, hey, clearly, you feel like you're entitled because I'm me.
Yep.
A lot of this stuff is just based, you say a lot of these traits are based on this serious like delusions of grandeur and thinking you're more important than everybody else. Like you feel like you're entitled to certain benefits because you were born.
And here's the thing, what he just said matters. Like it all kind of like this inflated sense of self. This I am me, therefore is like what I said when my short. I will get into this in a little bit, but the thing is that when this type of delusional thought process where you feel owed something with no reason behind it except that you are existing in this world, the issue is when the narcissist will do anything to make it happen. It's not that they need success. They need you to acknowledge that they are successful. And they will do whatever it takes to make you acknowledge their delusional, inflated sense of self. That's where they get super dangerous, emotionally dangerous, and things of that nature.
Born because you are here, because you exist. I feel like I deserve more followers because I'm me. I provide the best information, which I wasn't at the time. I just felt like I did. I felt like, hey, I've diagnosed a narcissist. Who else knows more than me? So many other people know more than me. But at the beginning, I thought I deserved more. I was entitled to more followers. I was entitled to more views, But going to therapy, being in therapy so long, I've come to understand that you had to work for it. You had to earn it. Y'all see me earn it. Y'all been 3 years pumping. I've been pumping hard for 3 years on YouTube. I've been pumping hard for 3 years, 3.5 years on TikTok and Instagram. I've been pumping hard. Y'all know I've been working Facebook. I've been pumping hard because I know there's that sense of entitlement still. Is it still there? Yeah, it's still there, but I understand it. I tell people this to people all the time. My first thought is still self-serving. My first thought is still the thought of a narcissist. Like it doesn't go away. Like there's no cure for narcissistic personality disorder, right? So my first thought.
Say that again.
There's no cure for narcissistic personality disorder of a narcissist. Like it doesn't go away. There's no cure for narcissistic personality disorder, right?
There's no cure. It is a way that your mind processes information and that you see the world. The difference between him and all of the other ones that are undiagnosed and that won't get help and haven't realized or whatever is the fact that he understands and he's intelligent enough and he's willing to do the work so that his first thought is that narcissistic, self-centered, self-serving thought. His second thought is, okay, is that really the way it needs to be? And then he thinks twice. Everything he does, it's more work. He has to work harder because he has to stop the first, it's the intrusive thought that pops in your head. We've all been trained over our lifetimes to not necessarily pop off with the immediate thoughts that come into our head the second that we open our brains, right? Like we don't, yeah. So he has to do that every time that he has a thought and say, is this self-serving? And then he moves on from there. Hold on, I'm gonna change. Oh, my soundboard is being a nerd. Okay, here we go.
So my first thought is still going to be the narcissistic thought. But what I've learned over the years is I'm able to slow myself down and rationalize with myself to understand that, I have a sense of entitlement, but I also have a sense of common sense to understand that I have to earn it. The entitlement kicks in first, but then the common sense and the therapy work comes in, and it's just like, okay, you feel entitled, but why? I ask myself the question, why? Why do you deserve this? And be real with yourself. I have to be real with it. I'm real with it. So why do you deserve this?
We should all do that anyway. We should all actually be completely honest with ourselves and stop trying to pretend like be realistic with yourself. Be honest with, if anybody in the entire world that you are honest with, be honest with yourself. Sometimes things just aren't going to work out. Not because someone is out to get you, but maybe you just can't run 3 miles. Okay. It is what it is. It doesn't mean that the treadmill's out to attack you. It just means you can't do it. Acknowledge it and move on. People are just so hung up on things. Ugh. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. I love this.
I come from a place of realness. I have to keep it real. I have to keep it hot with myself. So I do feel entitled sometimes, but I work on it. You get a lot of narcissistic people. They feel like they're entitled to stuff that they haven't earned. just because they exist. You see, just because they were born and they are here, or they suffered more, or they are taller, or they're better looking, or they're faster, or they're a harder worker, or they whatever it is, y'all. They feel like that because they feel entitled to other people's bodies. They feel entitled to your space. They feel entitled to your money. They feel entitled to your support for no reason. For how have they earned it? Without earning it, they feel entitlement without earning it. You know, into being entitled without earning it, feeling entitled without earning it is a narcissistic trait, y'all. So, trait number 6. Wait, 14 is interpersonally oppressive behavior.
There we go. So, this is the big one.
Interpersonally oppressive behavior is the 6th trait of narcissistic personality disorder. It means that you think that the idea that one group is better than another and has the right to control the other. You feel like you are better. The narcissistic person feels like they are better, so they feel like they deserve control over you.
Yes.
They feel like they are, again, go back to the entitlement, they feel like they're entitled to the control over you. They feel like
they're entitled to tell you what to do, what to say, how to behave, what's allowed, what's not allowed, because they are them. Because they're more intelligent, they know what they're talking about. Whether it's true or not does not matter. They are going to say it in their delusional little world. And that is how people fall under very, very, very toxic relationships. Very toxic, because it starts small and you don't expect it. You don't think, people that love you shouldn't be like this, right? This is not how they behave. Well, this isn't normal, so you can't apply normal to the situation. But yeah, they feel like they are entitled to control your behavior, your money, your body, your opinions, and that you have to defer to them. And you have no choice. Why? Because they're them. That's literally the justification for everything, is because I am me, therefore.
They can oppress you because they are better than you. They are, better at it than you. So that's why a lot of people in relationships with narcissists, they feel like they have to control every single thing that you do. The children of narcissists, they oppress their personalities. They oppress their ingenuity. They oppress their happiness. They oppress everything about them. They want to control everything around them. They feel like if you want to do something with your life, because they control you, because they own you, because you belong to them, they feel like you need to ask them permission.
Yes.
They feel like they are part of the dominant class. It's kind of like they think that they're above everybody, so everybody should listen to them. You need to listen to me because I'm this person. I'm me, so you need to listen to me.
And a lot of it, that's from my personal experience, a lot of it was, how was I going to say this? I had it like 3 seconds ago. A lot of it was, everything you have is because of me. I didn't do it. I didn't accomplish it. I didn't put the hours into your job, but I was present in the house while you worked 2-3 jobs. I should get all the credit for all of the things because I slept all day while the kids ran crazy. You came home on lunch, you cooked the meals, you took care of them, you took them to school, you bought all of their stuff, and I just slept and partied with my friends. But yet I raised amazing children, and everything that they do is because of who I am. You're welcome. There's a lot of you're welcomes in there. Every accomplishment you ever make is because they allowed you into their presence. That's how that works. And it's weird because you think from the outside, you think, who would put up with that? It starts small in subtle, small ways. And I know in other content he does, he kind of explains it a little bit, like the little nuances and subtleties. But I'm telling you, they're sneaky motherfuckers, okay? They're sneaky because you mistake it in the beginning as confidence, which generally is pretty attractive. You mistake it for confidence and charisma. And then that's why people fall, because they're like, oh, it's nice to be around someone that's confident, that isn't so needy, that doesn't need you to do all these things. And then little by little, they just kind of like pull back the curtain and then you're already like locked in a cage in the basement. You know what I mean? Like, who cares then? Anyway.
belong to me. That's why a lot of times when you get married to narcissists, or you get in a relationship, or engaged, or you are born to a narcissist, it's like you're signing a contract for them to own you. You know, it's like you're signing a contract for you to belong to them. Like, hey, you belong to me right now. You know, I own you. You know,
but it doesn't go both ways. It goes one way. You are owned by them. You don't own them. Oh no. You don't ever try to tell them you don't get any say because you are less than. You are on the low on the totem pole. You don't get a say. You don't get to tell them what to do or what's going. None of it.
You have to earn it. And they take financial control. They take emotional control. They take
He took all of my money. And I would have my account because he was too late. He didn't want to pay any of the bills because that was a pain in his ass. He didn't feel like it. So I had to make sure I did all the bill paying. But then he would, if he didn't have access immediately to my bank account, when I was sleeping and I'd get paid at like midnight and it would show up in my account at like 3 a.m, I'd catch him like messaging people and be like, I get paid at midnight. I'll be over there like at 3 to come pick up some weed. Like he would literally do that. And he would take my debit card. He would go to an ATM and he would drain my account all the time. And he would be like, oh, I'm just taking this. I just used your account to pay for something on Amazon. I needed this part to work on this lawnmower and they're going to pay me to fix their lawnmower. So he'd take $200 and buy a part to fix a lawnmower. They'd pay him in cash. He never handed me the money. He would keep it. So I always was struggling and he loved it because I had to work more and I was always struggling to pay bills. I could never keep up. and then he would berate me for that. It was my fault because I'm I'm horrible with finances and I just, I'm too greedy and, I'm selfish if I would tell him, no, we can't spend this on this. No, you can't sell our food stamps because we need them for food for the kids because you've spent all of my cash. You can't tell him no. He wouldn't allow it. He would just go behind my back. Do you know what I'm saying? And people are like, well, why would you put up with it? Well, because by that time I was isolated from everyone I knew. I was prevented from keeping close relationships or private conversations with people that I needed to ask for help. And I was gaslighted, and sad to say, I wasn't acting in a good way in my life. I was doing things I shouldn't, illegal things I shouldn't be doing, partying, trying to keep up, keep up with all the stuff that was going on. And at that point, it was just, I was too immersed. I was trapped. I got trapped for a really long time. It was horrible once you realize you're trapped and you can't get out because you don't have any resources. You've burned all your bridges. You have spent all of your time making excuses for this behavior because you don't want anyone to think anything bad about them or about you. Because, what is the first thing that people say? Well, leave. Don't put up with that. That's horrible. Leave. Get out. What? Okay. So there was too many facets. It was like a knot. Okay. It was like a piece of string that has been scrambled up and tightened. Okay. It's a necklace with like 3 chains on it that has been put into a drawer, and you come out and you're like, oh shit. They're like, we'll just take the knot out. It's all of these interlocking, locked in, twisty pieces. You just can't find a way out because you have everything balancing on all these. One thing fails, the whole thing comes down. And I'm not talking about the relationship. At that point, you don't fucking care anymore. Your children, your home, your mode of transportation, your job, you're completely reliant on the person. That is how it works in a toxic relationship. You are trapped, you're gaslighted, and then when you finally figure out, what am I doing? You're stuck. Because if you take out one of those Jenga pieces, the whole thing crashes down. If you go to leave them, they're toxic and hateful, and he was very retaliatory. He wanted vengeance. He was going to attack. So it would be verbal, physical. It could involve the kids. He would call CPS. Just, if you leave me, I will call and get the kids taken away, because if I can't have them, you can't either, right? Even though, he was on drugs and he was running around and he was doing his thing and he was stealing money and it didn't work. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Even though I took care of everything and took care of my children, even when he was sitting right there and wouldn't bother, just to spite me. So if I had pulled that piece, so I needed to have somewhere to go, a shelter. Well, in the rural area I was, everyone knows everyone. You can't hide. He would take my car. I would put a club. You know those things you put on the wheel? I'd put a club on the wheel of my car. I went 19.99, could not afford it. Bought it 2 different times. And I kept the key in my bra under my boob, between my boob and my I kept it because I was like, at the time he wasn't getting none. That wasn't happening. That was the only way at the end, towards the end, that's how I got away. He would steal my car for days, trash it, you know. So I would put the club on the car. He would rage and rage and rage. And then he would like, yeah, it was a good time. So anyway, what I'm saying is that people are like, why don't you just leave? It's not that simple, especially when you're married, especially when there's children involved, and especially if it's been like the longer that you were there. And the narcissistic people, especially the toxic, malignant ones, are very, very petty. They're vengeful and they're mean and they're nasty and they will do anything to hurt you because you deserve it. Anyway, I went off on a tangent, but thank you, Annette. I love you. Appreciate that. Exactly, Chelsea. That's exactly the type of behavior. In rural Florida, you guys, in this town that they're all in, this whole family, they call DHS on each other all the time. They're like, I'm mad. He would call DHS on his mother because she pissed him off. So he would call DHS and say she's doing drugs and there are kids in the house. He would tell them that. So they would go boom, 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 boom. Well, she was turning tricks in the back room, but there was no kids there. He was just mad because she wouldn't give him part of her disability for the month, whatever the case may be. Or she talked crap on him. Or I don't know, what was the latest thing? He snitched on her to get himself out of trouble. And she basically made him persona non grata in the area. And so he was mad. So he did it again. Just retaliatory, nastiness. Anyway, back to this.
Mental control. They take control in the bedroom. They can take control of everything. Like they try to.
Okay, yeah, that's not necessarily true because that man did not take control in the bedroom. That was one of my biggest disappointments. I'm just going to leave it at that. I wish, but no, it was boring. But that's okay. Whatever. We'll just leave it at that.
To dominate you. They literally
said it.
Try to dominate your life.
Not in that way.
That's why so many people get stifled out in toxic relationships with narcissistic people because you lose your sense of identity. They control your identity. It's like literally right here. This is the part of narcissistic personality disorder when you're with them where it feels like you're a member of a cult. This is where the cultish behavior kicks in right here.
Yes.
They feel like you're a member of the cult. Like I think for you right now. I think for you. I breathe for you. You breathe for me. Like you do as I say, not as I do. You see what I'm saying? This happens a lot of times in these spaces right here. They just want to control you. They put you down. They control the finances. They control your whereabouts. They isolate you from your friends or family. They do a lot of this stuff to dominate your life and to destroy your life, to destroy your relationships with other people. This happens quite a bit.
That's what I was just talking about.
Y'all. This is one of those things that happens a lot with a lot of narcissistic people, you know. So be very wary of that right there. I know I ran on long with that one, but that needed a little extra time, you know. 1720. So trait number 7, it says no form of empathy. So right here, this is where it's kind of got, for me, this kind of shows you that like you don't have to, like most narcissists are going to lack empathy. A lot of narcissists are going to lack empathy. Right here it says no form of empathy, but I think a lot of narcissists, like, so to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, I told you have to have 5 of the 9, right? So you can have a little bit of empathy and still be diagnosed as a narcissist. Like you don't have to fall into the no form of empathy for this diagnosis. You see?
No, I completely agree. I feel like it's selective empathy. And to be honest, I feel like it's kind of fake empathy. In my personal experience with my ex, a lot of his empathy was situational and if it could get him ahead. So like if it would make him look better or get something is self-serving. So he would be empathetic. I would say sympathetic. I don't know. Anyway, he would be empathetic to situations only if by being empathetic, it would make him look better. So like he was a complete douche and everyone knew he was horrible to me and treated me like crap. but he was empathetic to them when they would do something stupid and get in trouble and be stuck, like they get in trouble with the cops or something. And he would be all like, oh, you poor thing. And they'd be like, oh, well, aren't you just such a caring, kind person? One of my favorites, and one of, I'm sure, his favorites, was the poor single women. Oh, did you have another kid with another guy? Another one? Oh. And they left you just like you cheated on him and he cheated on you. And then you guys got together thinking it was going to be different. Yeah. Oh. And now you're lonely and sad. Oh. And you can't pay your bills. Here, I'll give you my wife's money to help you pay your bills because I'm a nice guy. Right. And because it made him look good. And they'd be like, oh, he's so wonderful. And there was nothing more exciting to him in my situation. There was nothing more exciting to him than to embarrass me publicly or have people think badly about me. So he was such a nice guy giving them my money. They knew he didn't work. They knew it was my money. But me being like, you shouldn't be giving people my money. Like, we need that. I'm the selfish bitch. That's how that went. Just, oh, there's so, you guys don't understand. I have all these examples. I could write a damn book of the examples. It's crazy. I told you guys the trash bag story. That was legit. And somebody was like, could you not take the trash out yourself? I'll get into the comments on some of my content later. Those are fun. People are like, I swear they're like, huh? What? You said hello. How dare you say hello? It's like, did you actually watch it? Well, no. And it's like, all right, shut up then. Chelsea, get that. I've been single for 7 years. I'm scared to death to even let someone get close. Pretty positive I'll be single for the rest of my life. I feel you. Sort of. I've been single. Well, I got my divorce was finalized in 2019. I left officially hardcore, like packed up everything and moved to Texas in January of 2018. I had to track him down. He was hiding behind the couch, wouldn't answer the door for the service processors for the divorce. So I paid lots of money to get him served multiple times until I finally had a judge override it. That's how bad he was. Anyway, so that's what, like 7 years? So about the same. So here's the thing. I'm not scared to let people close. I just don't care. I don't have it in me to take on someone else's mess. I have so much baggage, and I am so, like I said, I'm very big on controlling every aspect of my life. It protects me. I feel safer. I apparently attract men that are a little bit, are they needy or desperate? I don't know. And I don't understand why they apply that logic as if I'm going to be needy and desperate, and I'm not. I have people begging, let me send you a picture of, and I'm like, no. And they're like, how could you? I'm like, well, bye-bye. Or, they're like, how dare you not accept my invitation to go to some event? Well, because number one, I'm not interested in that event. I don't do that. And number two, because no, as friends, sure, as a friend, but I still don't want to go. Well, I'm mad. You're not interested. Well, yeah, we established this. Like, I don't have the time to deal with mucking through their personal needy baggage. Like, if you get to a point in your life where you're confident and you just think I'm awesome and you want to hit me up, hit me up. If you're sitting there desperate for attention and needing validation, honey, ain't gonna come from me. This kind of shit ruined me to where my level of what I will put up with is very low because I deserve better. Not because I'm me, but because I'm a good person and I treat people well and I'm very loyal and I work really hard and my kids deserve the best. So if you can't change my mind, then guess what? Move on. And I'm not, it'll take somebody special to change my mind. And there's nobody on the horizon that is even interested in changing my mind. They just want me to. It's funny because people always want to hit me up and ask me about me until the moment they get to start like talking sexy talk. And I'm like, bleh, no thanks. And they don't like that. And then they get mad at me. And then they start talking crap. And then they start disliking my videos. And I'm like, okay. I have people that talk crap. Oh, you're on social media. You care more about that than me. Well, yeah, I don't know you, bro. The fuck? I am absolutely, Chelsea, not an empath. I am absolutely not an empath. I will tell you that right now. Someone like Cliff is an empath. I am not. Anyway, I'm going to get back to this. I'm never going to finish this. I'm going to keep talking. That's okay, though. I wish I'd recorded, though, so it would be in high definition and it would be like all in one. But more, and I didn't do that.
Like you don't have to fall. Like you can be a narcissist and have a little bit of empathy, according to only needing 5 of the 9 criteria. Only needing to meet 5 of the 9.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Selective empathy. So in other words, they're only empathetic if it furthers their purpose, right? And so if you're already under their thumb, if you're already under their control, they have no reason to need to feel empathy with you because you're already stuck. Make sense?
Criteria. So you can be a narcissist with a little bit of empathy. You see, that's how it works. That's why I say there's a spectrum of narcissism. There's probably gonna be a difference in a narcissist with 5 of 9 and a difference of a narcissist with 9 of 9. You see, if you have all 9 of these, you got some stuff going on. You know, I'm not laughing at them, but you have a lot of stuff going on in this space. But you know, empathy is the ability to put themselves in the shoes of other people. You know, put themselves in the feelings of other people and understand the feelings of other people. A lot of narcissists can't do that. That's one of the things that a lot of narcissists lack the ability to do, is to put themselves in your shoes. That's why when you ask,
I'm going to put a little asterisk on this one and say, in my opinion, I feel like from what I've seen, it's more along the lines of they just don't care enough to try and see it from your perspective. They see it from their perspective and no other perspective matters. It's not that they can't see it from they've been, you're hungry, you don't have any money, you can't pay your bills. Of course, they understand that. They can put themselves in your shoes. But why would they? It doesn't matter. To them, it doesn't serve any purpose. Therefore, they're going to ignore it. Does that make sense? Selective empathy. It's not that they're not capable. You can literally choose to turn that piece of yourself off. It's possible. I am not empathetic. However, I'm sympathetic. I understand situations. Do sad songs make me cry? No. You know what makes me cry more is like when you see someone breaking down when someone's giving a death notice on a TV show. And they're just like falling, like they're brokenhearted. Their person never is coming home. That tears me up, But a song doesn't make me cry, ever. It doesn't hit me like that because I don't relate to it on that level. Does that mean I don't think it's a sad song and it doesn't invoke emotions? No, it just means that I don't emote them and then I do not base how I react on that momentary feeling. I can still sympathize with people. I can still put myself in their shoes. I can still see from their perspective. How I act on it, however, isn't emotional. It's more rational, logical. I don't run on emotion very much. And that makes people say, oh, you're a narcissist. Okay, cool. Say what you want. I know better, but okay.
Ask a narcissist
Hi, morning.
you ask a narcissist to put themselves in the shoes of other people. Like, how would you feel if you were in this situation? They can't do that. They're going to give you a logical explanation of how they would survive and be better than you in this situation. But like, like the tears, the feeling, like to feel the way that you feel, a lot of narcissists cannot do that because showing empathy and being vulnerable, like, is weakness to a lot of narcissists. Like showing tears and being vulnerable, showing compassion is weakness to a lot of narcissists because
a lot of people that are in relationships or have previously been in a toxic relationship, especially with a narcissist, develop this type of behavior. It is something I was just explaining about myself. It is called a trauma response, which is basically a armor you have built up over the course of a traumatic experience that helps you be able to accept the world or deal with the world in order to prevent further hurt, harm, or whatever. I'm making this up as I go, so it's not articulated properly. It is a trauma response. So, I have trained myself over a decade and almost a decade and a half of being attacked every time that I would show any emotion that wasn't requested to not show the emotion because I'm not triggering off their tirades and physical and mental and emotional and verbal abuse. I'm not doing it. So you learn to basically turn those off. Not that you're not feeling it, but you're not emoting it because emoting it the consequences were just not worth it. And in order to numb yourself and get through your day, in order to get past it and get out eventually, you had to basically fake it. It's like being undercover in enemy territory. You know what I'm saying? So that is absolutely also can be mistaken for narcissism, but this trait that I'm discussing and he's discussing is also a trauma response for people that are survivors of these types of situations and relationships, or that are currently going through this. So don't mistake it that this standoffishness and some of these things that are very, to someone like me, I can spot them a mile away. And if you've ever had a one-on-one conversation with me where we have talked about this subject, then you know what I'm talking about. I can usually spot it pretty quickly. You know who you are. And they're not even saying that they're in the chat now, just they probably will watch this because this is a subject that's near and dear to all of us. But you know that I can spot it because, like recognizes like. We've been there, and you kind of recognize people that have been through the trenches and things of that nature. So please, if you're from the outside and you've never been through it, and you see someone behaving in this way and you think that maybe they're on the receiving end of an abusive or toxic relationship, please understand that it is likely armor or a trauma response or some form of self-protection. And, try to give them a little bit of grace. There's my spiel.
Like a lot of times when we were growing up, being compassionate, being empathetic, we got punished for it. You get punished for it. Like, especially in certain societies and certain cultures, like you get called soft, especially as a man, as a little boy, you get called soft or girly for being emotional, for crying, for showing tears, for showing compassion to people. Stop being a girl. You act like a girl. You see what I'm saying? That's how we grew up. That's how a lot of us grew up in a lot of these different spaces.
Also, and I'm just putting this out there in the universe, I might as well at this point. Also, being overly emotional as a reaction to thing, and I'm going to specifically tie this into something that you guys are aware of. So, for example, super over emotional, like reaction videos. I don't do those very well. I don't watch them. I don't enjoy them because for me, I'm so used to being careful about what I show on my emotions. And a lot of people know that the real me, I act exactly this way in real life, but they understand that deep down, like I have these feelings and things hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to tell you. You don't need to know that. But so when people like go on camera and cry their eyes out or like squeal and scream and things, it irritates me because it's like, get a hold of yourself. Like, get a hold of yourself. It's nothing personal against them. It's just how I feel and how I see the world. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like I am more confident and successful when I'm just not like breaking into, being upset and shaky and anxiety and crying every time that something triggers me. I have to make sure that I feel like I'm more successful and I feel better about myself than when everything made me want to tear up and cry. And after the divorce, I felt that way because I was sad and I was upset and I was trying to restart my life and I was a hair trigger, And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not doing this shit. So now I don't want to say triggered in like, I'm not like, oh, they're going to make me cry. It's more like, it's not like, oh, it's more like, okay, like, can you like turn that shit off? And it makes me an asshole, and I get that. But you know what? It works for me. You got to do what works for you, especially when you're trying to survive something that's, life changing. Anyway, I was just putting that out there.
Like we were told, you can't be empathetic, you can't be compassionate, so we sealed it up, So I do think a lot of narcissists, especially me, a lot of narcissists, well, some narcissists have what, to me, there's two different types of empathy. There's emotional empathy, and then there's cognitive empathy. I feel like a lot of narcissists lack emotional empathy, the ability to emotionally connect, like that, but the ability to put themselves in the emotional shoes of other people.
Yeah, I don't do that.
But some narcissists have cognitive empathy, which they can understand why you feel the way that you feel. They can understand why you're crying. They can understand.
I have that trait. I don't connect with people. Like, I don't connect and like lock my emotions with your emotions. You feel emotion, I feel emotion. We all feel emotion, and we're in a crying circle. Like, I don't do that because to me it doesn't make sense, and it's like I don't see the purpose of that. That doesn't get me anywhere. But I still understand that doesn't make me any less, kind or sympathetic or wanting to be there for somebody. And some people judge you on that. They think, well, oh, you're not crying. The song is sad. Okay, I agree, it's sad. It doesn't mean I have to bawl my eyes out, right? And I understand. I'm not saying it either way. You can be that way or not be that way. That's fine. Be you. Whatever is, that's just how I am. And I'm relating to this. So me saying that, I have this trait which I believe personally is born off of a trauma response. This is the way that I have developed as an adult in my for 14 years in order to survive and thrive post all of the stuff I was going through. And I'm okay with that. So once you acknowledge it and say, you know what, I'm okay with that. I'm still a good person. I still empathize with people. It's just the cognitive empathy. Doesn't mean I'm a narcissist. It is one of the traits, though, depending on how you look at it. So, I mean, I'll acknowledge that. I think everybody has a little bit of some of these traits. Like, don't lie. We all think we should win the lottery.
And why you were happy. They can understand why you feel the way that they feel. They just might not connect to those emotions with you. They can understand it. They just don't feel it with you. You know, they don't connect with you.
A lot of people are like that, though.
Because of something that's going on within the, you know, behind the scenes, within the narcissist's head. That happens quite a bit right there, y'all. You know, so it says no form of empathy, but that's right there, you know.
And see, that's another thing, is that there's a lot of people in general, like, you guys, we are in a space, especially when it's online and YouTube and chat and live streams and things of that nature, where there's a specific type of person that is looking for the type of content that we are involved with and that we watch. Okay? Those are people that are open to connecting and talking and discussing and all of these things. They want those connections. They tend to have like not the same lifestyle, but they come from all walks of life, but they kind of have some of the same personality traits. They, you know, that's why everybody kind of relates to each other. It kind of makes sense. So it would make sense that in that scenario, a lot of the people are very empathetic emotionally to a lot of the things that are happening on screen. They like being emotionally involved, invested in the content. Therefore, they look for content that's like that. See, someone like me, I have no interest in being emotionally invested in the content. I'm invested because I like the people, I like the song, like I'm excited, but I don't want my feelings to go up and down as I'm watching. I don't enjoy that. For me, that's like a blaring neon sign that danger, danger, danger. You're, you know, there's this whirlwind and you can't get off, you know, you can't get off the roller coaster type vibe. I don't like that. But that's me. And it's not just me. There's a ton of people in this world that are cognitive empaths, or they can relate cognitively to feelings. That doesn't mean that they're going to connect directly with those emotions and you feel they feel. You feel they understand. You feel they understand. Like, that's how they relate to each other. So we're just in a space where a lot of people that are emotionally connected or empathetic reside. Where they reside here. So when you see someone like me, I look like a complete heinous bitch. Because I don't. How could you? Well, because that's just how I am. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I hope I am. Sorry. Sorry, I stopped and scratching this.
But like I said, you can be a narcissist and have a little bit of empathy right there. So I think when you have zero empathy is when you can get diagnosed as a sociopath. Or a psychopath. I think that's when it happens right there in those spaces. Because there's a lack of empathy for most narcissists. Because they say, as the definition of NPD states, it says a lack of empathy. Lack means there's still something there. You have a lack of water. There might still be a little bit of water left in the cup. You know, I have a lack of juice. There's a little juice in here. You know, but no juice means the bottle's empty. He said no juice. But that's how it goes, y'all. So trait number 8, 2130. Resentment of others, or a conviction that others are resentful of him or her. Like, this is where the jealousy component kicks in for a lot of narcissists, y'all.
Jealousy.
A lot of narcissists resent you for being you.
Yes.
For being you, for having the ability to be you. Like, I say this in a lot of my other videos, that when you are happy, narcissists resent you for being happy. They resent you for having the ability to be happy and to express yourself like that. Because a lot of narcissists don't. They have the ability to be happy, but they don't want to express it because they feel like it's weakness. They are jealous of you. This is where the resentment kicks in, y'all. Especially if if you get a narcissist, right, that comes from like humble beginnings or lack of resources or something like that, and you were born like what's the term, with a silver spoon in your mouth, or you came from, you know, you didn't struggle growing up, right? They resent you for that. They resent you for how you were raised. You were raised like this. How dare you Like they feel like you didn't earn anything in your life, so that's why they resent you for your accomplishments. You only got that because you were born over here. You know, I had to struggle and fight for everything I have. You were given everything. They will resent and just diminish and invalidate everything that you do because they're jealous of you. Jealous.
Okay, let me just. I'm going to throw this out there into the universe, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack. If anybody gets this far in the video and then they give me flack, then, you know, they're more than welcome to. Who do you know as a general group of people? There are multiple, by the way. There's multiple examples. It's not just one, so it's not just one. Who believe that they're entitled to things just because they are who they are. They've not accomplished anything. They have not earned it. Not, you know, they've done absolutely nothing except exist. Therefore, they are owed. And they resent anyone that is doing well in that same, whatever the space may be, because they aren't. Can you think of any groups of people who behave in this manner? Now, the reason I am saying this is not saying every single one of them is a narcissist. That's not what I'm saying. This entitled, self-serving behavior is cheered mainstream. It is encouraged mainstream. It is approved mainstream. It is pushed and accepted and allowed and encouraged mainstream on social media and things, you know, overconsumption behavior, entitlement behavior, where people are like, how dare this person have something that I can't? Like that type of behavior, identity behavior, through traits that you have no control over, no accomplishment, nothing whatsoever. You are just suddenly owed something just because of something that has literally nothing to do with you as your accomplishments or your success as a person, that type of thing. So there's a lot of different ways this can be applied in mainstream, just saying.
Jealousy runs rampant and invalidate everything that you do because they're jealous of you. Jealousy runs rampant with narcissists, y'all. Jealousy and envy, like sometimes they want to take what you have, you know? They don't want to just have it because they feel like they deserve it. They want to take what you have because they resent you for having it. They resent you for having empathy. They resent you for having friends. They resent you for having a close relationship with your family, you know? But this is the flip side of that. It says a conviction that others are resentful of him or her. Like, a narcissistic person thinks that you resent them for being them. They think you were jealous of them. Like, this is the delusions right here. We always, like, the delusions and the paranoia kick in right here. We always feel like we're being watched, right? We always feel like somebody's watching us or somebody's out to get us and whatnot. So that hits us in the head. It really does. Like, we always feel like there's a set of eyes on us. So we are always behaving in a certain way, right? We're always acting in a certain way. We always moving like people are jealous of us. That's why you get a lot of narcissists, y'all. When they do have the resources, they have to shine. They have to try to outshine everybody. Some of them want you to be, let's be real. Some of them want you to be jealous of them. Some of them want it because your jealousy and your envy, your resentfulness, it empowers them. They live for it. Some of them absolutely live for it. They live to make you resentful. They live to make you jealous. They live for it. So that happens a lot, y'all. Like I said, we always think eyes are on us. So y'all hear a lot of my videos. I say, I used to feel like I was alone when I'm in a group of people. When I was growing up, when I was inside a big group of people, I used to always feel like everybody was watching me. But I feel like I was alone, but all eyes was on me for some reason. I always feel like I stood out. Again, I could be in a crowd of people who look exactly like me, but I feel like I would stand out in some way, shape, or form. I always felt like that. But yeah, that's it right there, y'all. So the last trait, number 9. This is the longest video I've ever done on YouTube, y'all. The longest one I've ever put up, other than a live video. This is the longest one, which is kind of wild. A display of egotistical and conceited behaviors or attitudes. Ego. Oh, I got a big ego. Ha ha ha. Yes. Huge egos.
Narcissism is a diagnosable mental health disorder. It is narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. It is absolutely a mental health illness. It is a mental health disorder. It is diagnosable. It is incurable. With therapy, people become self-aware and find ways to deal with it so that they are tolerable and that they don't hurt others. But it absolutely is a mental health issue. And the only problem is the reason people aren't diagnosed is because they don't think anything's wrong, because they think that they're perfect the way that they are. And so they don't go get seen. And they don't care enough about other people's feelings to listen to them when they say, hey, you really should go talk to someone. And when they do go talk to someone, they think that the counselor has nothing to teach them, that they're going to teach the counselor. So you can't win. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're almost done with this. This is a really, 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 really long video, you guys. He only did 28 minutes. I did a lot longer because I talk a lot.
So this is where the difference between a lot of covert and overt narcissists kick into play.
Okay, I'm gonna put an asterisk right here. This is from personal experience. I told you I was gonna put my personal experiences into this video, and I meant it. Everything that I do in this live stream is I'm gonna put some personal experience into. My ex is what they would consider an overt malignant narcissist. There is a specific definition for that. Overt means in your face, and covert kind of means they're a little bit more subtle. Malignant means that they're dangerous. That's how I define it. I know that it's an official term, and I can go into that later. I don't know if it's going to be today. Group sessions are absolutely not helpful for narcissists, because then they're put on the spot. They feel attacked and they feel ganged up on, and they do not handle that well. That is one of the worst ideas ever. Convincing them to go and finding someone that they actually might listen to, they won't do it with an audience. They absolutely won't do it. If you met a group session with other like narcissists, they're still going to feel like they're on the spot. So they're not going to sit in there and go, maybe this is me. They're going to go, wow, these people have a lot of fucking problems. What's wrong with them? They don't get it. They're not going to sit in a group session and say, oh shit, I do that too. They don't realize they're doing it. They live in a delusional reality, a distorted reality. They live in their own world, and they will say and do whatever it takes in order to maintain their reality that they have come up with in their head. My opinion, I'm just saying. That's what I think. I'm so sorry I stopped you on this face, sir. I'm so sorry, sir.
Yeah. Covert narcissists, who are the more subtle, passive-aggressive narcissists, still have big egos. They just demonstrate it in a different way. Overt narcissists, they have big egos and they show you. Covert narcissists, they have big egos and sometimes they show you and they tell you. They just, I think overt narcissists will show and tell you as well. But covert narcissists kind of whisper, while overt narcissists scream it. They still
like passive-aggressive compared to aggressive. I would put it that way.
The same, because one of my old friends, he's an overt narcissist. I'm more covert most times, right? So we would have the same goals, but we go about getting them in different ways. Still, both of us still narcissists, highly narcissistic, highly toxic, but we go about getting them in different ways. Everybody knows he's toxic. People didn't know I was. They was like, he's toxic, and he would overshadow me with his toxicity, and I'd be cool. People look at me like I was no toxic. I was a nice guy. You see?
Compared to, yeah.
You see how that happens. But egos, y'all. Egos, jealousy kicks in. It says, a display of egotistical and conceited behaviors or attitudes. They think they're better than you. Mm-hmm. But you see narcissistic people have huge egos, but they're huge, fragile egos. Like huge glass tower egos.
Yes.
Like egos as tall as the highest mountain, but it's fragile. You can break it with a little baby rock. That's why narcissists don't like criticism, an aversion to being criticized in any way, shape, or form.
At all.
Right? You get a lot of narcissists that all it takes is a little bit of criticism, and it breaks them down.
They lose their minds.
All it takes is a little bit of criticism.
Just a tiny bit.
And it breaks the narcissistic person down.
It could even be criticism that isn't really meant as criticism. It's just like, wow, that's a really interesting shade of pink. You didn't praise it. You didn't say it was amazing. You didn't say it was the best thing you've ever seen and like say that they just picked the perfect shade. You said, oh, that's an interesting shade. What? Now you don't like it. Now you're doubting me. And they immediate. And it'll be at you. They will go at you. They'll suddenly say like, well, it's not like you know how to look at your nasty ass hair with your fucking stupid color on your hair. I made that up, but I'm just saying there's like, they'll immediately attack. Their egos cannot handle any criticism. They cannot handle any implied criticism. It cannot handle any questioning. So you have to watch everything that you say constantly. You constantly have to watch what you're saying and how you're saying it, which is another reason that I refuse to sugarcoat things. I have done it for so long, having to stroke someone's fragile, poor little baby ego. Aw, you can't handle it. You can't handle somebody saying you did something wrong. No, you didn't do it wrong. They put the car together wrong. You didn't screw it up by shifting an automatic transmission. No. While you were going 60 miles an hour. No, you didn't almost drop my transmission and screw up my my automatic shifting. No. They must have made the manual shifting incorrectly because it's built in there that you can manually shift. Well, you're not supposed to with an automatic transition, you idiot. Trying to impress your friends, you know. They must have built it wrong. They must have done it wrong. I would never shift improperly. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, obviously. By the way, I had to manually shift that stupid fucking car until I got to Texas. It was horrible. It would go into like neutral on the highway while I was driving cross country to move here. Really good times. Good time.
A little bit. You know, you criticize them, you hurt their ego, they'll lose their damn minds. They attack you. They try to come at you. They rage out on you. They start stalking you, harassing you because you hurt their ego. You did something small to them, and they take it in a major way. They have these big egos. They have these grandiose egos. You feel like they're the most confident people in the world, but they're fragile people that are easy to hurt. How do you hurt a narcissist? Criticize them a little bit. Tell them that they're not. Tell them that they're not as good as they think they are. That's all it takes, y'all. It's not very hard to hurt a narcissist's feelings. It really, really isn't. That's why I tell people, y'all. It happens all the time in these spaces. It happens all the time in these dynamics and whatnot, y'all. So, I hope this video brought you some clarity, brought you some peace. I got all this information from it's called TheraVibe. I'll put the link in the comment section or the description, y'all. So y'all can just click the link and go get more in depth about narcissistic personality disorder, DSM-5, 301.81, F60.81. Anyways, y'all made it this far. Thank you for making it this far. Like and subscribe for more, and of course, mental illness is out. Peace. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video.
He's a good person, good people. I absolutely love his content. I respect him immensely for all the things he's trying to do. He's been in therapy for a long time to address his own issues and things of that nature, which I think is awesome. I personally don't go to therapy. I don't think there are therapies for every single person in this world. I can understand why he would consistently need input as to the things that he's thinking and how he's addressing things, and someone to kind of bounce ideas off of and say, hey, did I screw this up? But anyway, please go check him out. When I do repost this, or if I just leave it as the live stream, I'm going to put the link down below to go click on his content. Go check some of it out. It's really interesting. People send their, I had a brain fart. People send their like personal stuff and he comments on it. He's on all of the platforms under Mental Healness, HEALNESS, Mental Healness. His name is Lee. Definitely. I mean, you don't have to tell him I sent you. Not like he would notice. He gets plenty of comments, but I definitely hope you check him out. And, I will definitely link it down below. At least give him a watch. Watch one of his shorts or videos or something just to check it out. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine. But yeah, I respect him a lot. I found him a couple of years ago and I've watched some of his content. I watch it if it runs across my feed. If anybody knows me, they know I don't scroll. So anyway, that's the end of that part of the video. I'm going to do something fun. Watch. I'm going to show you something. Watch. I'm doing this on purpose, y'all. Okay. And I'm going to do it again. There's a reason. So when I edit, I'll see a big yellow spot, and then I'll know that's where